the Appalachian Mountains. This is the Alex Morgan Show.
And we're back. Sorry for that little interruption. Hope we got some viewers out there tonight.
If I'm the Democrats,
Back to the interview.
$15 billion for defense that was not originally authorized, that's a small price to pay for continuing to fund refugee resettlement, continuing to fund Planned Parenthood, continuing to fund sanctuary cities, continuing to fund the EPA and not build the wall. The Democrats clearly think this is a big win, and they're confident they can block Trump's agenda after this spending bill for the rest of Trump's term. There isn't anything of the president's agenda in this budget, and people are beginning to ask, when's that going to happen? If you're going to shut it down in September, why not now? Yeah. If you complain about 60 votes today, why not go budget reconciliation for 51 votes and smoke them?
Rush, let me be real clear. The number one priority of President Trump is to rebuild our military, to restore the arsenal of democracy. And I got to tell you, to get Democrats in Washington, D.C. to agree to a $21 billion increase in a short-term budget bill. And, you know, the president's calling for the largest increase in military spending since the Reagan administration in the upcoming budget. I think it's no small accomplishment. Also, this bill includes the largest increase in border security funding in 10 years, with enough, as the president said, to make a down payment on a border wall. We're replacing ineffective and failing fencing and wall with an unbreakable barrier. We're beginning to build the wall already, and look at the statistics, Rush. Illegal immigration, border crossings are down more than 60%.
That's right, the fear factor. The fear factor is working there, no question about it.
Well, it's not fear factor, it's leadership. You have in Secretary Kelly someone who is acting on the president's direction. We are enforcing the laws of this country. We're vigorously removing criminal illegal immigrants from our streets, including these dangerous gang members that are being removed from our major cities. It's all having its effect. But I want to tell your listeners, this budget bill includes the single largest increase in border security funding in 10 years. Throw in there, Rush. Remember, this is an issue. You've been a great champion of educational choice for disadvantaged kids for as long as I've been listening to you, and it's just about as long as you've been on the air. And President Trump insisted here in this bill and got that we're continuing the educational choice program here in our nation's capital, and we're going to continue to expand educational opportunities for some of our most vulnerable kids. So there's a lot in here. This is just a 5-month bill. This is a short-term bill that finishes out this year, but I think it demonstrates that in President Trump's leadership, the American people once again have a president who can bring together both parties, who can move the ball forward on the priorities of the American people, and when the next budget comes around next fall, you'll see even more of President Trump's leadership priorities reflected.
Mr. Vice President, we've been told this for 15 years. We'll get them next time. After every continuing resolution, we'll bite the dust. We'll get them next time. We'll kick the can down. We'll get them next time.
We got them this time. $21 billion in defense spending at a time. I got to tell you, I was out there visiting troops in South Korea. I was standing on the deck of the USS Reagan in the harbor in Japan. I mean, look, the president has made it clear his number one priority is national defense and national security. And to say in this very first budget bill, instead of getting gridlock, instead of getting the government shut down, which Washington's been pretty good at for a while, we actually made progress, and we're making a significant investment.
But why then is the president
growing government at the same time?
Why is the president now suggesting a budget shutdown in September, October? If it's no good now, why is it good then? You guys were sent there to drain the swamp. There's a clear Trump agenda that just isn't seeable. It's not visible in this budget, and some people are getting concerned that there's more concern for bipartisanship and crossing the aisle, working with Democrats, than there is in draining the swamp and actually peeling away all of the roughage that is preventing actually moving forward here on so many of these issues that affect people domestically.
Yeah, but I think people look at the efforts of the last 100 days. I was with the president in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, Saturday. It took him an hour just to outline the highlights of the last 100 days. I mean, he signed more bills into law than any president in the first 100 days since Harry Truman. He's 13 different bills rolling back an avalanche of regulation and red tape on businesses across this country. 500,000 jobs have been created since the first of the year. And you mentioned the Planned Parenthood issue. I know that's emerged. You know, the president recently signed a bill into law that ends the Obama-era regulation that blocks states from banning Planned Parenthood funding. Now states can ban Planned Parenthood funding like we tried to do in the state of Indiana. And of course, the health care bill that we hope comes up soon actually defunds Planned Parenthood altogether while we repeal and replace Obamacare. So
I did hear that. I heard that
this president is fighting every single day to advance his agenda, and I couldn't be more proud to be standing shoulder to shoulder with him.
Planned Parenthood repeal is in Obamacare. The repeal of Obamacare, new health care?
It is.
What's the status? What is this? If it passes, what are we going to get?
What are we going to get?
What you're going to get is the beginning of the end of Obamacare and the beginning of a better health care system for the American people. This first bill.
What is so hard about finding votes to get rid of something that's just destroying the healthcare system?
Well, the founders of this country created a system where it was hard for Congress to do things. It was also hard for Congress to undo things. And Obamacare has failed. You've described it more accurately than anybody else in the country. I mean, every promise of Obamacare has failed. They said, if you like your doctor, you can keep it. That was false. If you like your insurance, you can keep it. That was false. They said premiums would go down. Premiums would skyrocket across the country. What this bill does is, first and foremost, it repeals the taxes and penalties that are at the core of Obamacare. We expand health savings accounts, which you've been a champion of for decades, giving people more choices in consumer-directed care. And then we block grant or provide great new flexibility in Medicaid back to the states. And the combination of all of this, I truly do believe, is the beginning of the end of Obamacare. And that'll take more executive action by Secretary Price. It's going to take another piece of bill to sweep the final vestiges of it away and to allow people to buy health insurance across state lines. But Congress has an opportunity right now to literally step back in the direction of a healthcare system that is based upon the choices of the American people, the ability to choose your doctor, choose your health insurance, and a step away from the government-mandated insurance and disastrous results of Obamacare.
So we're still looking at essentially like a phase 2 and a phase 3, because I know that one of the plans is for the Secretary, Tom Price, to be able to wield the identical power that what's-her-face had from the Obama administration. That the power in Obamacare is really vested in the Secretary of Health and Human Services. I mean,
there's a great deal of latitude, and I'll tell you, Secretary Price is already about that now. We are working diligently around the clock at Health and Human Services to be poised and to work with states to give all new flexibility.
Yanking a bunch of Obama things out of there that Sebelius put in.
Well, but I mean, the simple fact is that the power that was vested in the Secretary of Health and Human Services to implement Obamacare can also be used to unleash the power of a free market.
Right.
So
if you don't
we'll have to do one more bill, Rush, to sweep away the remaining vestiges and the president's vision to let people buy health insurance across state lines. But this is an enormously important first step toward taking the American people back to a healthcare system that's based on freedom of choice, freedom to choose your doctor, the free market principles that you and I know will increase quality and reduce the cost of healthcare in America.
I know we're up to your time limit here, but I got to ask you if you have time about Kim Jong-un, North Korea. You were just there. The president has expressed a willingness to meet with him under right conditions. What is the real threat posed by this guy? What are we prepared to do about it?
No question that the regime in North Korea represents the most serious threat to security, not only in the region, but in the world today. This is a regime that continues to demonstrate through its actions a flouting of international expectation. I mean, the world community is united in in the goal of a nuclear-free Korean Peninsula, and yet for a quarter of a century now, the Kim regime has ignored and frankly deceived the world community through one failed negotiation after another. And the president's made it very clear that we are not going to negotiate for the right to negotiate, that we need to see the regime in North Korea abandon their ballistic missile program, abandon their nuclear weapons program, to stand down.
Stand down.
At that point, in combination with our allies in the region and in combination with China. Well, once North Korea has been isolated economically and diplomatically and changed their behavior, then the prospect of discussions could be considered, but not before.
I have an idea about this. Apparently, the guy cannot successfully launch anything. The story is that we are hacking the guy's launches within seconds after the launch. The missiles blow up. Keep doing that, because I'm sure every time it happens, he shoots some of his engineers. If you hack enough launches, he'll shoot his entire government and not have anybody left to threaten with.
Rush, it's an enormously serious moment. I remember standing at the DMZ, looking in the faces of North Korean guards, and you're literally looking into the face of repression.
Totally, they're robotic evil.
For now, we have to send a clear message that while we're committed to work with our allies in the region, to work especially in renewed ways with China, to economically and diplomatically isolate North Korea, that all options are on the table. President Trump is going to continue to drive toward a policy that achieves a historic goal of removing nuclear weapons from the Korean Peninsula. I know the world knows he means business.
Mr. Vice President, thank you for your time. I know we went a little bit over.
Well, there you have it, folks. I think the Vice President handled that pressure very well. He was quick, he was decisive in answering such controversial questions. I'd say he's been very prepped for situations like that, though. I mean, you'd have to be when you're that deep into politics. And I saw him in the debate. He tore Hillary's running mate to pieces, if you ask me. But both sides claim victory, whatever. Yeah, just whatever they think. Let them think what they want to. I think they're pretty much gonna cause themselves to become extinct because of their own ignorance. Here's a video that I would like to play. Colbert skit.
Dickerson asked his question anyway.
That's.
I'm asking you because you don't want it to be fake news. I want to hear it from President Trump.
You don't have to ask me.
Why not?
Because I have my own opinions. You can have your own opinions.
But I want to know your opinions. You're the President of the United States.
It's enough. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Important president to work here. Got a president all over these papers here. Let's see. What's this? Yep, still paper, still blank paper.
You make me sick.
Let's see. Let me read this presidential briefing. Yep, I got the president. I got the briefing right here. I got the briefing. Yes, it's true. We gotta do something. Yes. Oh yeah. Sorry, John. Can't talk. Gotta do something. Gotta do something about the nation of Charministan. Sorry about that. We must wipe them off the map. Is Dickerson still over there? I don't want to look. Is he still there? Bring. Sorry. Hello. Yes. Scotty has very secure phone. Yes, this is Donald Trump. John, I gotta take them. I gotta take this call. It's the president of Asia calling. Hello.
Oh my God.
Really important. John, I can't hear you.
Stephen
I've got a banana in my ear.
Pathetic, okay?
Obviously,
I wish you could hear this,
Something
man.
was on that paper.